Hello, good afternoon. Welcome to our live video where I'll be making some plant-based food today. First of all, I just wanted to apologise. I had posted this to be a live event yesterday, Saturday, but unfortunately I had something very last minute come up and I was going to cancel, and then I thought actually I'm going to move it on to Sunday. So I hope it hasn't inconvenienced anyone, but thank you for your patience. Right, so I can see some people are coming on, so I'll just wait a little bit, but I think we're going to start very soon and get cracking with some cooking. What have you been making recently? Let me know if you've discovered anything new, if you've managed to adapt any recipes from other cookbooks, anything you want to share, please do share in the comments, because this is what this page is all about, us sharing our passion for food, our passion for Thermomix. All right, so I'm going to crack on. So today I'm going to make two recipes. I'm going to bake a jackfruit in a spicy bean chili, and I'm also going to make a silken tofu mousse, chocolate mousse. I just want to show you that plant-based food is so delicious, full of flavour. The textures are slightly different, but I love it. I've been making the chocolate mousse for years now, and I'm not vegan, I'm not vegetarian, but I do love healthy food, and this is one of the things that I find that a lot of the vegan alternatives are simply much, much better for your body and a really good alternative. I also like to try different types of sugar as well, so different sweeteners, whether it's coconut sugar, rice malt sugar, maple syrup. So even another of my favourites actually to sweeten is making date syrup, which I think I've made in a live before, but it's so easy to make and put away date syrup, and it's naturally sweet and it's so good. So yeah, let's crack on then. So I'm going to be using two Thermomixes today, my Thelma and my Louise, because that way while the chili's cooking I can just crack on with the silken tofu. Okay, so here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is bring the recipe up on my screen. It is a cookie dough recipe, so let's go. I've popped it in my weekly planner, ready for today. There we go. So that's jackfruit and bean chili with spicy avocado puree. So let's start cooking. So the first thing we're going to make is the avocado puree. I have my avocados ready here, nice and ripe. Let me grab my chopping board, a knife, and my avocado slicer. Oops, let's take the lid off and pop the scales back to 0. Just remember to always check your scales when you're weighing, because if you press next before you take the lid off and then you take the lid off, you're going to have a minus, so it's always worth having a look. So let's see, that's my avocado going in. It's one of the things I can't really peel and have ready before the session, because avocado goes dark very, very quickly, so I wanted it to be nice and fresh. I've got 2 avocados today, so I hope it's enough. Let's pop that in there. I do love avocado, I must say. I am massive, massive lover. And actually, the mousse we're making today, even though I'm making it with silken tofu, it's also really nice with avocado. And it just doesn't taste of avocado. It's just so creamy, it gives it such a lovely consistency, and avocado is full of protein and all sorts of other good stuff. So there we go. So that's our last avocado going in. Perfect. Oh, that's the pip. Luckily it didn't go inside. There we go. So I'll move that over there for the minute. So let's keep going. Oops, I pressed next twice. So fresh coriander. So I didn't have any fresh coriander and I couldn't find it anywhere today. I went to 2 different shops. So I've decided to use basil and a little bit of mint instead. Doesn't bother me at all. It's a different flavour, but it's beautifully fresh. So I've got that ready here somewhere. So it's 20 grams of coriander. So I'm just adding the basil. There we go. Almost there. And there's a little bit of mint in there as well for good measure, because I love the freshness of mint and basil. There we go, 24 grams, a little bit more, that's fine. Press next, spring onions, which I have ready here somewhere. So that's my spring onions going in. Lovely. Let's press next. Okay, so did I miss one? No, I haven't missed one, that's great. I thought I was missing an ingredient. So lime juice. I think lime doesn't have pips, so we're safe to put it straight in. So here we go with the lime juice. Squeeze it all out. I love lime. Oh, just the smell, the taste. There we go. Squeeze all that in there. There we are. It's only 22 grams of lime. I have got more lime, but because there is a little bit less avocado than the one that they need in the recipe, I'm going to leave it at that. And then 1 red chilli halved. So that's my chilli ready to go in. And some salt, and I'm guessing probably some pepper. Bought the salt and pepper just in case. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. They go together like a perfect couple. That's it. Let's pop the lid on. Press next. And we're going to turn the speed selector now to speed 5 for 15 seconds. 15 seconds. Let's press next. And let's scrape down the sides. Oh, this is looking good. So good. Of course, avocado and chili is perfect. I always make some form of guacamole or something with any chili that I make, whether it's a bean chili or a meat chili. Okay, so we're going to pop it on for 10 more seconds, speed 5. There we go. Let me show you what this looks like. There we go. So this is our avocado puree, okay, with basil, lime, chili. Let me pop it in here. So we're going to put this in the bowl and set aside, because this is actually going to go over when we serve the chili later on when we want to eat. So let me pop it in here. Oh, I do love the smell of the avocado and the basil and the mint leaves and the lime. So fresh. And that's what I love. A little bit of sour cream or coconut cream if you're definitely being plant-based or vegan. And this avocado is just beautiful. And it just, with the heat of the chili, it just gives it some lovely fresh element to it. So that's our avocado puree. That's going to go in the fridge, ready to serve with our chili later on. Straight into the fridge for the moment. Wonderful. And now we're going to start. Let me put my dirty bowl to one side. I'm going to grab a clean bowl. Okay, there we go. There's a clean bowl ready to go. Right, so next element is the actual, it's asking me to clean the bowl, but I have one that's already ready to go. So 20 grams of oil, olive oil going in. Beautiful. Let's press next. 120 grams of onion. So I've already chopped and quartered the onions, ready to go in. Save a bit of time while we're doing the live. Let's press next. 120 grams of carrots. Again, all chopped up and ready to go. Next, celery. So I've got some celery here. As you can see, I don't waste any of the celery. The leaves go in as well, gives beautiful flavour. And 1 red pepper, all chopped. In we go. Let's press next. Mushrooms. Chestnut mushrooms, all chopped up here. But to be fair, any mushroom that you have to hand would do for this recipe. Let's press next. 2 garlic cloves. That's 2 garlic cloves. And finally, the reserve, where are they? So it's asking me for the reserve stalks of the coriander that we used before. Because I use basil, I've reserved the stalks of the basil, and that's what I'm going to pop in. So no waste with this recipe. I've actually got some leaves left, so they're going to go in as well. Why not? Let's not waste. Let's press next. Pop the lid on. I need a measuring cup to go on. Okay, let's chop this 4 seconds, speed 4. Beautiful. Scrape down the sides. There we go. Ooh, it's already smelling lovely. Let's pop the measuring cup on, give it another quick. So now it's going to saute for 5 minutes at 100°C. I'm going to turn the speed selector to mixing spoon, like a spoon stirring. Remember that spoon stirring speed is really handy for things like stir-fried vegetables, for prawns, lovely stir-fried prawns, if you're not vegan, of course. So here is Louise, my Thermomix number 2. And what we'll do, while that's sauteing, we're going to start making our silken tofu in this one. Okay? It's going to take a little bit because we've got to melt the chocolate also. Hello. Hi Rose. Hi Jacqueline. Nice to see you. Kath. Hi. Feel free to say hi. And if you see anything that I'm doing wrong, or if you have any questions, fire away. I'll try and keep a little eye on the questions and see if I can reply. But if I don't, I'll come back and have a look afterwards when we finish. Okay, so now we're going to start with the silken tofu. So I'm going to go back into my weekly planner. And this recipe in particular, I've been making it for years, even before I had a Thermomix, and I just found it online. And I used to just, make it in the Thermomix manually. I have found a very, very similar recipe in the Mexican portal. So it's in Spanish, which is fine because I'm Spanish, but just remember that you can look for it in the Spanish or Mexican portal or other countries. And if you use Google Chrome, it will translate the recipe for you. Hi Ruth from Dublin, wow. What's the weather like there in Dublin at the moment? We're all feeling very jealous at home because I'm from Madrid and my friends in Madrid, they've been sending me lots of photos because they're snowed down, like it snowed really heavily. It looks amazing. It looks like they're living in the mountains or something. So we're all very jealous here, hoping that it will snow here as well so we can go and have maybe a little bit of fun in a park or somewhere. Don't know if that's allowed, but anyway, one can dream. Even if just to look at it would be lovely, wouldn't it? So anyway, I digress. I get very chatty sometimes. We're going to start with our chocolate mousse. Start cooking. So it says 200 grams of chocolate, 70%. So I've got that ready here. I'm actually using no added sugar chocolate. So this recipe will have no refined sugars at all. There we go. pop that on. I've never used this recipe before. I always used to do it manually, copying my old recipe that I used to use. But so it's quite nice to have it on Cookie Do and just be able to follow the instructions. But just remember, it really isn't difficult to transfer any recipe into Thermomix, to convert it. It's really quite easy. Once you've been using your Thermomix for a while and you get used to the speeds and the temperatures, you'll see how easy it is to convert recipes. Oh, there we go, 200. Let me pop that over here. Let's press next, pop the lid on, press next, and of course it's going to start chopping the chocolate for us. 5 seconds. It's cold in Dublin, yeah, very cold here as well. We went for a little walk earlier on, but it was beautifully sunny, and actually I love it when it's sunny and cold. Okay, so let's put this down. Let me show you. So we've chopped the chocolate there. Now the great thing is about chopping the chocolate down is that it will melt a lot quicker and a lot more evenly. If you want to make very, very easy hot chocolate, just chop some chocolate in the same way that we've just done. Add milk of your choice, whether it's soya, almond milk, coconut milk, cow's milk, you know, whichever you're into. Add a little bit of maple syrup or honey, a little bit of cinnamon. I love cinnamon in hot chocolate. And then pop it on, I would say temperature about between 80 and 90, because it's slightly under boiling temperature, and you'll have this beautiful creamy chocolate. Pop it on for maybe 4 or 5 minutes, I reckon, and you should get the perfect creamy chocolate. And if you really want to froth it up, then pop the butterfly whisk in after about 2 minutes, and that's also going to really give it a lovely whipped creamy froth. So let's carry on with our recipe. So it's asking me for some soya milk, which I have here. Oops, pop the bowl down. There we go, a tiny bit more. 50 grams of soya milk. So this is now going to start melting the chocolate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it on to melt. It's going to take 4 to 5 minutes. I'm going to push it to the back so that in the meantime we can carry on with our chili. There we go. Girls are working hard today. Let's press next. Right, so let me show you so far. Now this is what I love about Thermomix. I mean, how easy is this? It sautés the vegetables, it chopped the vegetables for us, and it sautéed the vegetables. There's no standing on the hob, you know, keeping an eye, making sure they don't burn, stirring like crazy. It just does it all for us. It is amazing. Okay, so 1 teaspoon of chili powder. Got my chili powder ready. I'm not going to make it too hot because my kids don't like food too hot. So I'm going to actually put a little bit less than a teaspoon. Got some lovely paprika here, all the way. I think this came all the way from Hungary. And that's a teaspoon of paprika going in. And next we have some ground cumin. Oh no. Sorry, cinnamon, not cumin. There we go. That's my cinnamon. Don't forget to grind your own cinnamon, okay? I buy cinnamon whole and I grind it myself, okay? It's so quick and easy to grind your own spices. It's so much cheaper, and they just smell amazing when they're freshly ground. So there you go, grind your own spices. And finally, see, I knew there was some cumin in this recipe. These are probably the top ingredients for a chili. Cumin and cinnamon. They really make a chili pop. Really important to use those spices. Let's pop this on. Let's press next. And that is going to cook for another minute. Now while that's cooking, I'm going to get my tofu ready for my silken tofu dessert. Now this is, have a look there, silken tofu. Okay, now this is slightly different from regular tofu. You'll find that it comes, it's not in the fridge department, and it normally comes in a carton like this. And silken tofu, or silk tofu like they call it in Asia, it's a much softer kind of version of tofu, and it's absolutely perfect for desserts, for dressings. You can do lovely salad dressings with it, and sauces. So a really good alternative if you're plant-based to use this. And as I said, I've been making this tofu dessert for years, even though I'm not particularly vegan or vegetarian, but the texture is just beautiful. Some people like to make mousse with avocado, which also gives it a beautiful creamy texture, and it's full of protein. But I actually prefer the tofu. And also, if you have issues with hormones, or if you're premenopausal, let's turn that off. If you're premenopausal, that's this one, or menopausal, it's really good to add soya to your diet. So this is a good way of adding soya to your diet, you know, just making this lovely mousse, or adding it to salad dressings, or making sauces with it. So keep an eye out for it, and I'll be making some more recipes using silken tofu. So let's pop that there. So this is done now. Let's tear back to 0. So 400 grams of chopped tin tomatoes, which I have here, ready to go in. There we go. Beautiful. Let's press next. So jackfruit. So I've got the jackfruit ready here. So this is what comes inside. Let me show you. So this is the jackfruit that I'm using, okay? As you can see, it says young jackfruit. The reason it says young is because jackfruit is a fruit that comes from Asia. It's very popular there. And if it's ripe, it's lovely and sweet and very tropical. But to use it in savoury cooking, you need to use the young jackfruit. So you don't want it to be ripe. It doesn't have that much flavour, but it has a lovely texture, and it really absorbs all the flavours. So in this chilli, it's going to give it a beautiful flavour. And this is what it looks like here. So that's your jackfruit. Okay, we're going to pop that in. There we go. So that's the jackfruit going in. Let's press next. Okay, so it's asking me for 200 grams of chickpeas, and it's also going to ask me for another can of kidney beans, which I've actually rinsed together, so I'm going to pop them in at the same time. There we go. So that is kidney beans and chickpeas that have been rinsed going in together. There we go. Let's pop that there. There you go. So that's 1 can of chickpeas and 1 can of kidney beans. It's asking me to stir it all with the spatula. So I'm going to give it a nice little stir here. Ooh, already smelling lovely. Beautiful. Now, there is an ingredient that it hasn't asked me to add, but I'm actually going to add, because I tend to add it to a lot of my cooking. And that is my homemade vegetarian paste. Now, because we're not vegan at home, this isn't a vegan paste because it has Parmesan in it. But if you're making a fully plant-based dish, make sure that you use a little bit of paste or powder of a plant-based. But see, just a little teaspoon like this, it adds so much flavour. I add it to any tomato sauce, to any chilli, just to add that extra zing. Let's press next, pop the lid on. It's asking me to put the basket on top. I have actually a splash guard, but if you don't have a splash guard, your simmering basket on top will be fine. It's just, we want air to come in, but don't want it to splash around. So that's gonna go on and cook for 15 minutes. So I'm gonna pop this to one side and let that cook. There we go, and I'm going to bring this back. I hope you can see there really well. Thank you. Let's put this down here. Okay, so let's have a look at our chocolate. I think it needs a tiny bit more. Let me swap spatulas. Okay, let's have a look. Make sure I don't pop the chili spatula in the chocolate. Having said that, chocolate and chili, they say it goes really well together. Okay. Let's have a look. I think this is ready. Yeah. I was just checking to make sure, but no, I think that's perfect. The recipe actually asked it to be let cool down for about 4 minutes, which has been perfect while we were getting the chili ready. That's cooled down. So let's have a look. Press next. So now I need the butterfly whisk, which I have here. Butterfly whisk goes in. Let's press next. Okay, so now we need 250 grams. I think it tends to be one of these should be enough, but let's have a look and see how much. So this is our silken tofu. That's what it looks like when you open inside. So let's pop that in there. Okay, I think there's a little bit more than 250, but I'm going to pop it all in because there's a lot of chocolate. There we go. And I just don't like leaving a tiny bit at the bottom of the pack. So please feel free to experiment yourself. Let's press next. Okay, so it's asking me for sugar now. What I'm going to do, you could use coconut sugar. I'm going to use maple syrup just because that way there's no granules in there. If I were to use sugar, I would have probably ground the sugar at the very, very beginning. So just a little tip, if you're going to make this recipe with any form of granulated sugar, grind the sugar down before you start this recipe, and that way it won't have any bits, you know, any sandy bits when you're eating it. You want a mousse to be nice and smooth. So I've got my maple syrup here, and 30 grams. There we go. Now I think when it comes to sweetening a dessert, it definitely has to be to taste. So taste it. If it needs a little bit more, add a little bit more. We're using very dark chocolate. So if you feel you want it a little bit sweeter, then add a little bit more. Or if you want less, just add a little bit less. Let's press next. Pop the lid on. That's 1 whole minute now that it's mixing for us. We want it nice and creamy, so we do want that butterfly whisk to give it a really nice emulsion. Beautiful. Let's press next. Right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the sides because it's all come up a little bit. And I'm going to pop it on just a tiny bit more, just to finish mixing. So good. Oh my gosh, there's chocolate everywhere. Right, let's go back again. And this time, we're just going to mix it for 20 more seconds. Just to make sure it's all in there. Press next. Okay, So this is ready. This is how quick it is to make a beautiful, healthy, plant-based chocolate mousse. No refined sugars in here. No, there's no dairy in it. It's just niceness, really. Love it. Let me pop this to one side. That Thermomix back. So, have a little look in there. I hope you can see how beautiful and smooth it is. Now, we're going to pop this in little ramekins and put it in the fridge. Once you go in the fridge, it goes a little bit harder, but it's still going to have this beautiful creamy consistency. Wow. You can see how lovely and silky it looks. Isn't that beautiful? So let's pop it here. Just going to put it, I've got 2 ramekins. Normally this is enough for 4 portions at least. So let's put a little bit there. Let's put a little bit more in this one. I've only taken 2 ramekins out, I'm afraid. So what I'm going to do is leave the rest in the bowl. I've got some nice raspberries here, and we're going to put 3 little raspberries in each, like so. Oh, beautiful. This looks so pretty. If you have anybody round, obviously not at the moment, but it's a really nice dessert if you have people round. Okay, there we go. So that's how pretty they look. I hope you can see properly. That's how lovely they look in these ramekins. And these now go in the fridge. I've got these little lids for my ramekins, which are perfect. And that's our little individual chocolate mousse. Plant-based, very, very simple to make, very quick and easy. And as I said, if you like it a little bit more chocolatey, you can add more chocolate. If you prefer it sweeter, you can add it sweeter. You can choose what you use. So you can use any type of sugar, coconut sugar, regular sugar, sweetener, stevia, and you would be able to eat this on a keto diet, for example, if you use stevia or erythritol. So it's really versatile, this dessert, and I think it's perfect for any kind of dietary requirements, even for low calorie requirements. It's a very, very healthy dessert. So I hope you've enjoyed that. What I'm going to do is set it aside for the minute. Give me a second. There we go. So while, excuse me, I got caught on my hobnobs. So while the chili is going to finish cooking, I thought we could have a run through cleaning your bowl, because actually cleaning your bowl is really important for us all to do it right. For the longevity of the bowl. I mean, Thermomix is one of these amazing appliances that doesn't break very often. It's a workhorse. But the bowl is probably the thing that we need to look after the most, because the amount of food that goes in here, day in, day out. I mean, I use my Thermomix every day, repeatedly. So it's really important to get that cleaning right. And also the cleaning really depends on what you've made in your Thermomix, what you've cooked in your Thermomix. So the first thing and the one thing we always have to do is half a bowl of fairy plus a little drop of some cleaning product. Remember that it doesn't just have to be dishwasher soap. You could put a little bit of vinegar in there. You could put lemon juice, which is wonderful for cleaning, and lemon is a great degreaser. You could put a little bit of lemon juice and some baking soda powder as well. So if you want to go natural, you can really go natural. I'm going to add today the water and a little bit of baking powder and a little bit of lemon juice. So let me go and get some water. So I'm just going to add like a little teaspoon of baking soda. That's my bicarb there. That's gone in. And I'm also going to add some lemon juice. So I have a lemon here, but bear with me a sec. There we go. So I'm just going to add a little bit of lemon juice, which is a great degreaser. Pop that on there. Let me come out of this recipe first. Got water all over my screen. Now, one thing the screen doesn't like is water, so if you do get it wet, just give it a very quick wipe. Cancel the recipe. Yes. Okay, so let's clean our bowl. So if you have a TM6, you have the pre-cleaning. If you have a TM5 or a TM31 or even a TM21, you don't have the pre-cleaning function. But it doesn't matter. We can still clean our bowl really thoroughly. Now, how do we clean our bowl? There are different ways, and it just depends how dirty it is. I would say a good 70% of the time, 75%, I just give it a quick whiz at speed 6, because that gives it a very good clean. It cleans the sides, it cleans the lid. And if I've done something like milled some spices, for example, or even a sorbet or a smoothie, it's not really that dirty, and doing that is more than enough. Okay, so for just a very quick everyday clean, when it's not very dirty, I would choose 10 seconds, speed 6. 6 is the magic number when it comes to cleaning. So if you're cleaning manually, just remember speed 6. Okay? So let me show you what speed 6. Now this is the bowl where we made the avocado cream earlier on. But look, it's given it quite a decent clean. As you can see, oops, that's given it quite a decent clean even with the avocado. Avocado is a little bit greasy, so I would probably do something a little bit bigger. But that would be enough. I would then take it to my sink, use a good brush around the blades. Because avocado is a bit greasy, and if I am wanting to give it a more thorough clean, but a quick clean, I would use speed 6 again, but I would use the 6-6-6 method, okay? It's very quick, it just takes a minute, and all it is 60 seconds. So 60 seconds, 1 minute, temperature 60, and then speed 6. So that's going to go on for a minute. Now what it's doing, it's heating the water up now, so we're getting that water heated. Now when you've got a greasy bowl, that's what you want, warm water, to warm your water up to get rid of that grease, okay? And this is one of my very quick and easy way to clean. Now, if, say, for example, you have made some pizzas, pizza dough or bread dough, I would recommend that you first, before you put any water where the dough is, that you actually put it on turbo for a couple of seconds, or you turn it up to speed 10. Make sure the dough goes on the sides, get it off the blades, and get as much dough off as you can, okay? That, for me, is the ideal scenario. Take as much dough off as you can. So then on next, if you've got a TM6, okay, the next level of cleaning is of course using your pre-clean. Now in your pre-clean you have 4 different, see that's the pre-clean here. In the pre-clean you have 4 different choices. One of them is dough, which means it only heats the water up to 37 degrees because you don't want that dough to cook. Any dough that's left in the bowl, you don't want it to cook. This is why we want to take as much dough out as we can. The next one is our everyday cleaning. I think it's called universal cleaning. But it is actually still does take, it heats the water up and it does take at least 5 minutes. This is why I like to do my 6-6-6 if I'm in a rush or if it's not that dirty. A whole minute with 60 degrees of water is good enough. But if I want to give it a really nice, thorough wash at the end of the day, the universal cleaning is very good. Then the 3rd and 4th cleaning, one says for fat and caramelization, which means the temperature goes up to 75 degrees. And then the ultimate cleaning is the browning function. The temperature goes all the way up to 105. Now that's boiling temperature. Now to be fair, I love at the end of the day putting the let's stop that a second. I love at the end of the day putting on the browning cleaning, because it means basically that it's boiling the water, it's disinfecting, it really is giving the bowl the ultimate clean. And I absolutely love that one when I want. It probably takes about a good 8 minutes, because it takes a while, of course, to boil the water and give it a good thorough clean. So that's what I would do. Now, if you don't have a TM6 and you don't have the pre-cleaning functions, you can still do this manually. So don't worry about that, because this is what we all used to do before. Oops, there we go. We're back in the home screen. So if you want to do a really good thorough clean at the end of the day and you don't have the pre-clean function, just pop your Thermomix on 5 minutes. There we go. Oops, I've gone up to, could be 5 or 6 minutes, more or less. Temperature 100 degrees, which is boiling temperature. And then I would pop it on at speed 2, for example. That's going to boil the water in your Thermomix, and again, it's going to give it a really nice clean. When I finish doing this, I actually then whiz it at speed 6, because speed 6, it kind of gives a whiz to the top of the bowl and to the lid as well. So that's my ultimate thorough clean. And then of course I do take it apart and make sure I clean it thoroughly underneath the blades. I can see a lot of my customers, or I notice when I see their bowls, it's not very clean in between the blades, and that's because you don't take it apart. Now obviously you don't want to take it apart every single time you clean it, you don't need to. But say at the end of the day, I would definitely do a good boiling clean and take it apart completely so that everything is thorough. You can pop it in your dishwasher, of course, it's dishwasher safe, that's not a problem, but it's so easy to clean just here that I very rarely put it in my dishwasher, to be honest. There is another absolute ultimate clean. Now I would say once every 5 or 6 months, more or less, depends how much you use your bowls. I like to give it a really good clean, or if I look at one of my bowls and I think, oh my gosh, sometimes they start going a little bit yellowy inside, or, you know, just a darker colour. It just doesn't have that brand new look. And the way that I get my bowl looking sparkling new again is by putting 2 litres of water, and I put a dishwasher tablet in there. So 2 litres of water, a dishwasher tablet, and then I pop it on for 20 minutes, 90 degrees at speed 2. So that's 20 minutes, 90 degrees at speed 2. And this is a very, very ultimate clean, which is just to get your bowl sparkling clean. It's like it's brand new again. And I think once in a while you just need to do that, just to bring them back to life and bring, you know, it's very good quality stainless steel, but you know, we're putting lots of things like, you know, when we make curries and we use turmeric and things like that, it's kind of taken away that luster of the you know, the lovely stainless steel. So those are my cleaning tips. I hope you enjoy them. I think everyone, or especially advisors, we have lots of different ways of cleaning our bowl, but it really does depend how much time you've got and how dirty your bowl is. All right, so let's have a look at our chili. My bowl's cleaning in the background. Let's press next. Okay, so it's asking me to add a little bit of sea salt. Now, I don't want to add too much because I actually added a teaspoon of my stock, which already has salt in it. So I've just added a tiny pinch, a little bit of black pepper. So you may actually want to taste it, yours, before you add any more seasoning. So let's mix this all together. Oh, it smells so good. Right, here we go. So let's plate this up and see what it looks like. Okay, so I've got a bowl here. And I've got just another little tip. This is a little spoon kind of, because you really don't want to use metal in a stainless steel bowl. You can really scratch the walls. So always use silicone. So even spoons like this, try and have silicone. No metal spoons in here, please. Want to keep that bowl nice and lively. Ooh. Oh my gosh, this smells amazing. So then I'm going to get some of this lovely cashew cream. Okay, so we are going to dollop some beautiful cashew cream. And this is our jackfruit bean chili with cashew cream. I really hope you've enjoyed that. Please make it and send some pictures and let me know what you think of this recipe. It is a beautiful, beautiful, tasty recipe full of flavour and so healthy. Really nice, even for somebody like myself who I am a meat eater. I'm not vegetarian, but I've learned to love vegetarian food so much because of the textures and the flavours. They're so delicious that I really enjoy a good plate of plant-based food now. So that's it from me. Any questions, please feel free to ask, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye everyone, take care, bye.